Hello and welcome to another Stamp with Amy K Facebook Live video. I am just checking here to make sure that I am live where I want to be, which it looks like I am. So I think that we are good to go. If you hop on and are watching with me, just take a minute to say, hey, I would like to see if you're out there. And if not, if nobody's watching, then that's awesome too. So you can all catch me later. So, all right, so today I did a little bit of playing with, hey, Patricia, thanks for hopping in. So did a little bit of playing with the Above the Clouds stamp set bundle, which is actually a stamp set photopolymer, which I love. Stamp set that is a real cute one. It's got some good sentiments in it. And then a coordinating punch called the Hot Air Balloon Punch. So these two are together in a bundle in the new catalog that'll be coming up here starting on June 4th. So you actually can order them then. So this is an awesome new bundle that's in there. So I'm going to set that aside for a second, and I don't know if you've noticed it, but I actually used a few of the pieces from the soon-to-be retired Lift Me Up stamp set and the Up and Away Thinlits dies that are in the current catalog that are also retiring. So I did a little bit of stamping for the clouds and die cutting with some of the dies on here. So to me, these two stamp set bundles sort of work, or the stamp sets actually work real well together. They have some good mix and match sentiments. And I also love that you've got the clouds in here that you do have some clouds in the Above the Clouds stamp set, but there aren't any punches or dies that go with them. So I love that this one's got the set of dies with the clouds that coordinate. So did a little bit of stamping, kind of mixed and matched a few things together. So hopefully you guys will like the result of that. I would recommend that you go ahead and get the Up and Away stamp set, or I'm sorry, Up and Away Thinlits dies and Lift Me Up stamp set soon, because again, those are both on the retiring list, and the dies are available only while supplies last. So make sure that you get out there and get those if you don't have them already. All right, so let's get going on the card. Oh, and I forgot to say that I am going to be, hey, Kathy, thanks for hopping in. So it's rainy in Maine. It is actually beautiful here today, and we were freezing over the weekend. It was crazy, and like winter coat kind of freezing, and now all of a sudden we're back to 85 degrees. It's crazy. So, all right, so I actually used a couple of the new in colors on here, so we get to play with those. The background of this is the Seaside Spray, and I use that also on the clouds, and did a little stamping with Pretty Peacock, Purple Posy, Rococo Rose, so I used those on the card front. So get to see some of the new in colors as well. While I'm setting that aside and getting started on things, Stampin' Up! Did an update to the clearance rack this morning, so if you have not gone out and picked things up or taken a peek at the clearance rack, make sure that you do that very soon. Things are available only while supplies last, but they did add a whole bunch of holiday catalog items into the clearance rack, so go take a look, go get your goodies, and so that you don't miss out on any of those. All right, so let's get going on the card. I started off with a little bit of soft suede ink. And I don't know how well you can see them, but they're the little birds from the Above the Clouds stamp set. And I'm just stamping them here on the Seaside Spray cardstock. And I think I sort of stuck that one up here. And I went ahead and did a little bit of pre-embossing on this. I think the other one was about over there. And they don't have to be in any certain particular order. So, so I went ahead beforehand and embossed so I didn't have to drag out the Big Shot. Did some embossing on this panel. Normally I stamp first and then emboss, but I figured these little birds, they didn't need to be perfectly stamped, so I wasn't too worried about it. So did that with the subtle embossing folder ahead of time. I'm going to set that aside and get out my card base here. And a little bit of multi-purpose liquid glue. Thanks so much, Kathy. I appreciate that. For letting other people take a look at the video. So I'm going to stick this down here on the card front, hopefully get everything fairly well lined up. So what are you guys thinking of the new in colors? I really like them all. I don't know, terracotta tile, I'm not really an orange person, but that's actually a nice color of orange, which I was kind of pleasantly surprised by. I wasn't sure that I would love it, but now that I've actually kind of gotten it and played with it a little bit, I actually really like that color. So I think I'm actually going to like it. So, which is again odd for me because I'm normally not much of an orange person. So, all right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to start stamping some of the balloon images. And I did the outlines in the darker colors. So I did the outline of the first one in Rococo Rose. And I'm going to set that aside. And get out my card base here. And I'm just going to stamping some of the balloon images. And I did the outlines in the darker colors. So I did the outline of the first one in Rococo Rose. And I'm just going to stamping some of the balloon images. And I did the outlines in the darker colors. So I did the outlines in the first one in Rococo Rose. And sure I've got it inked up, which looks like I do. Stamp that down. And then I did the next one in Pretty Peacock, which, looking at them just out of the, you know, on the rack or whatever, this one's probably my favorite color, but I'm a huge fan of blues and greens, and so I really do like this one. Hopefully you guys do too. A little bit of Stampin' there, and I got to clean off here in between times because I'm going to reuse that same stamp with Pear Pizzazz, and I don't want to mix my two inks together, so just got my chamois off here to the side, doing a little quick scrub in between. The next one I used Pear Pizzazz for the balloon image. Make sure I got it inky, which looks like I do. I'm going to stamp that down here. All right. Now we're going to stamp the insides of the balloon. I know, it's fascinating for y'all to sit here and watch me stamp. It's over and over again. But I used soft seafoam on the inside of the Pear Pizzazz balloon. And this is one of those distinctive stamps, so it's meant to not stamp perfectly like solid on the image. It's going to be a little bit kind of graded in color, I guess would be the way I would say it. So it'll be a little bit lighter in some areas and darker in others. And again, have to do a quick scrub on that because we're mixing up the colors a little bit. So the next one, I used the Purple Posy on the inside. Oh, Danette really likes the peacock color too. I do too. I mean, like I said, I think initially looking at it, I think that's going to be my favorite color, but it always ends up changing. And the color that I think that I like the least is the one that I use the most. So I am doing, as you probably noticed, with a little bit of a sponge dauber on the Purple Posy. Because that is a brand new ink pad for me, it's very, very inky. And so I don't always get the best images on the distinctive stamps when I use that. So I have just started using a little sponge dauber, dab it in the ink, and then dab it over the image. And that seems to sort of take that bubbling effect away that you sometimes get when your image gets a little bit too inky. So, all right, so there we go. We've got the Purple Posy stamped, which it's a really nice light purple. So if you're a purple fan, you're going to love this one. And then the next color that I did was actually on the Rococo Rose. I used powder pink. Blushing Bride and Petal Pink I think would work just fine with that as well. But just wanted one last time to use powder pink before that went away. So last time I looked, the powder pink ink looked like it was getting on, or was on the low inventory list. So if that is a color that you don't have yet, I would highly recommend you go out and pick it up on the retiring list because again, that's another one of my favorite ones that I wasn't so sure I was going to love initially, but I use it a lot. It's one of my favorite pinks that we've probably ever had. So I'm a little sad between that and Lemon Lime Twist. I don't know which one I'm going to miss more. So, all right. So we're going to go ahead and punch these out with the Hot Air Balloon Punch, which again will be available beginning on June 4th. And all the new in colors, I don't know if I said that already, but all the new in colors are going to be available on June 4th as well. So you get to have a chance to purchase those if you are interested. Which of course I recommend you do, but then, you know, I buy everything because I love everything. So I'm easy to please, but hopefully you'll like the new in colors as well as I do too. So, all right, got the last one here. Let me make sure I've got it fairly straight. Do a little quick punching and set that aside and get that out of the way. So we've got our three hot air balloons done. Now we have the little baskets, and I'm going to attempt to stamp those since they automatically punched out. And I didn't take the time to line them up, which I probably should have, but you know, that would require too much planning. So I'm going to give it a try and see if I can stamp them fairly straight. It's a fairly big punch, and the image is actually not that large, so I was able to successfully do it the first time. So hopefully I'll be able to do it on screen and won't totally make a mess. So I've got a little bit of crumb cake ink, and I'm stamping that for the baskets. There's a solid image on the basket, and then we're going to come back in. I probably did this totally backwards, but we're going to come back in with the little, I don't know, is it lattice looking basket? Whatever it is that, you know, the little layered look to the basket with the little crumb cake ink over the top. And again, I think I did this totally backwards. Oh, hey, I think I got that one on there all right. I was a little worried. I wasn't sure I was going to be able to stamp that straight. Hopefully I'm doing okay, though. All right, there's basket number 2, and we've got one last one. Hopefully I won't mess that one up. There you go. So done. Photopolymer stamp sets do definitely make it easy for people like me who forget and do things all backwards and crazy. So we've got the baskets all stamped, and we'll set those aside, and we're going to pull the card base back in here. If you take a look at the first one that I did, I actually used glue dots to adhere on the balloons so that I had a little bit of space to stick things like the clouds underneath, because I wasn't quite sure what layout I was going to go with when I initially made the card. So that is why I used glue dots on ours. That gave me a little bit of extra room in there. I'm going to start with the green one here first. Let me go ahead and get that adhered on over here. Hey, Catherine, thanks for hopping on. I am glad that you're liking the, watching the videos. Hopefully I'm not fumbling too much. I don't know, I felt a little unprepared for this one. I'm not really sure why. I guess so much new product, and I was worried about, whatever. So I just was, feeling a little unprepared for this video, but hopefully we're doing all right. So I've got a few more glue dots here that I'm going to go ahead and adhere on the pink balloon. And find one of the baskets, and we'll adhere that underneath. Oop, that basket did get a little crazy, but I think it still works. I went ahead earlier and stamped and cut out a couple of the clouds from the Lift Me Up stamp set and the Up and Away framelets or thinlets dies. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere those on as well. And I stamped them in the Seaside Spray, which is one of the new in colors. And like I said, I used glue dots so that I could do just what I'm doing now and kind of lift up the images and adhere on the little clouds right where I wanted them to be. And then the final balloon I actually adhered on with some Stampin' Dimensionals. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. And if you've watched my videos before, you know that I cut my Stampin' Dimensionals in half to make them last twice as long because I'm cheap, or frugal, as Karen tells me, but I call it cheap. And they stick just as well with half the dimensional as they do with the full one. So you're good. Either way you want to do it. And then I think we're going to stick the last one on right here. And I used one of the little mini Stampin' Dimensionals to adhere the basket on. Down here. Right. And then I went ahead again and pre-did a little bit of the die cutting. I used the Up and Away Thinlets dies from the ones that are retiring, and I stamped the sentiment on it in Seaside Spray, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And we're just going to stamp it down and straight up. And again, because these are photopolymer stamps, they're very easy to cut the pieces ahead of time and stamp later if you want to. Otherwise, you can stamp it first and cut it out if that works better for you too. So either way works just great with the photopolymer stamp sets. I'm going to add a dimensional and a little glue dot over here to adhere the sentiment onto the card front. There you go. All right, got a couple of rhinestones to put on here, and then we'll get moving to the inside of the card. Frugal is a polite way to say cheap. I know, that's sort of how I feel about it, is that, I'll just call myself cheap, because I really am. I know I am. But I go through dimensionals like water, so, that's one of those things that if I can conserve on those, I definitely will, because I use tons and tons of dimensionals. All right, so that is it. We've got the card front all done. Hopefully you like that, but again, that's the Above the Clouds stamp set. I did a little pre-stamping ahead of time, again, for the inside panel as well, and I stamped the balloon image from the Above the Clouds stamp set. This is a set of 3 that actually comes all together on one image, and then there's a layering stamp that goes over the top of it that actually stamps again the layer color right over the top of it, all one image, so that's pretty awesome. So this is Pretty Peacock and Purple Posy, and then Rococo Rose and Powder Pink. I knew I was going to say the wrong name. I was going to call it Petal Pink, and I knew that wasn't it. But I did add a sentiment here in Seaside Spray, so I'm going to go ahead. This is from the Above the Clouds stamp set. Get a little bit of ink on there. hold my breath and hope that I stamp it fairly straight. Oop, I got a little bit of glob on there, but I think that'll work. I can stick a rhinestone or something in the middle of it. So, all right, so that is the inside of the card. Just doing a little stamping on Whisper White. Again, tomorrow I will be posting the details for this card on my blog, so you can see the cardstock cuts and the measurements and all that sort of thing then. So, but let me know if you have any questions about it. So we're going to go ahead and adhere this on the inside with a little bit of snail. And then fold the card base shut. Have to stretch that dollar to save more for stamps and cardstock. I definitely agree with you. So if we can save it on dimensionals, we'll save it on dimensionals. So, all right, so that is it for the card. So again, it's the new Above the Clouds stamp set bundle with the hot air balloon punch with it that I used for the hot air balloons. And then the clouds, the die cuts and the images for the clouds were from the Lift Me Up stamp set and from the Up and Away Thinlits dies. So hopefully you like it. Use a little subtle embossing on the background, stamp the little birds on it. So that is it for the cards today. I do have one other thing that I wanted to chat with you about, and that is, hopefully you all have seen this, but Stampin' Up! Has a new product medley that they are coming out with March 1st, or March 1st, oh, yeah, May 1st, sorry. May 1st to the 31st. This is only available while supplies last. And Patricia, yeah, I'm glad that I used the new in colors, and I hope that you like them. Yeah, I think they're a definite must-have. So, so we've got the product medley. The Everything is Rosy product medley, and it comes with a huge bunch of stuff in it. The image is super small on there, so hopefully you can see it. And it's not particularly clear, but it's got a stamp set, which has got 18 images in it. It's got a die set with 10 dies. It has a pack of 6x6 designer series paper, and it has rose gold run throughout the designer series paper pack. So it is awesome. The paper has 48 sheets, 8 sheets of 6 double-sided colors, or double-sided designs, and then there is a 6x6 pack of the rose gold foil paper. So that it will be awesome as well. And then there are rose gold die cuts, there are printed die cuts, there are rose gold adhesive backed embellishments, which are little round adhesive back dots, which are really pretty. And then there's some Melon Mambo ribbon and Night of Navy with rose gold edging ribbon, and then rose gold shimmer paint. So you get all of that in the product medley for $80. These pieces can't be purchased separately, so I just wanted to let you know that they're only available in the product medley and only available while supplies last from May 1st to the 31st. And they did not allow demonstrators to pre-order because apparently we hog up all the product and don't leave much for you guys. So we weren't allowed to pre-order it yet, so I am dying to get my hands on this. We saw pictures of it at Onstage, and it's absolutely beautiful. So if you tune in on May 2nd, perhaps I might overnight my order and get it here. So if you're interested in looking, I might just have it on May 2nd, so show it off to you. So, but it's a beautiful product medley. Hopefully y'all will pick it up as well. Let me know if you have any questions. I appreciate you all spending a few minutes with me today. Hope that you have a fantastic rest of your Tuesday, and I will plan to see you next week. Thanks for hopping in.